get down, off. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, for those of you that haven't had a chance to listen to the director meeting that we had last Sunday, we're going to try a few things different and see how they work out. The director call, I will start doing Facebook Live on those as well. So those people that are out of town in different states and stuff will be able to watch the director call and kind of see, the information and stuff that we talk about. And then last month I called each of you individually, but I really would like to start kind of doing these small group calls, which obviously maybe I need to do a couple evenings on a weekend because a majority of you, were able to do tonight versus at 12 o'clock in the afternoon or in the evening during the weekday. So, but I would like to do these. And because like Ashley is on our call here, and Ashley is working towards directorship this month. So woohoo, go Ashley. We are cheering you on as you are on for this month. I know Raven is also going for it. She got called into work tonight. She works 2 other jobs as well. And so one of her jobs, I think she works at a gas station just on like every other weekend, but they called her in this evening. So she wasn't able to be on the call either. So I know that she is going for it. And then we have like Jessica is going for advanced director. Hey, stay down, dude. And also, we have, who else are we having? Renee. Renee is also going to promote this month. So, so we have some exciting things going on, but I'm going to start adding anytime someone has 3 people on our team. And if I forget to do it right when they have 3 people, you can add them yourself. So if you have someone on your team that gets 3 people under them, I would like to add them to our director page. So that way, we're helping encourage them and help, so they can see some of the different trainings and stuff that we're already doing, and can help them along as they are striving for directorship. So if you have someone that gets 3 people, just let me know, and you can either add them or let me know and I'll add them as well. So this small group setting is going to be kind of our chance. One, I'm going to relay some, important training information, but also it is a way for you, to ask questions, to, get feedback, share things, that maybe you're struggling with for the month or you need help with, that kind of stuff. So that's what I would like to, kind of do on this call. And so that way we're kind of doing it in a smaller group setting. I wanted to get your guys' feedback on the other couple director calls I've had. I've gotten their feedback. So I want to know kind of if you guys are feeling the same. At the exec sem, like Stacey Itzel said that she does director bound training once a quarter. And she said, the reason she does that is because, if you just run one continuously, there's not really, you kind of lose that momentum. So what do you guys think about running a director bound kind of, 4 times a year versus 2 months and then turn around and do it another 2 months and then turn around and do it another 2 months? What do you guys think about that?
I like that, but can I be honest in saying that I did not like our director bound this last time?
That's what my next question was. So I know with the Aspire to Be, it was even a lot for me to keep up with, a lot. So I feel like we need, I think the other one was okay that we were doing. I think I would like to kind of not do as much as what the Aspire to Be is, but maybe do a little bit more than what we were doing, because I feel like the calls that you're doing with your people that are wanting to promote are important, but not necessarily like 15 videos a day that they have to watch and all these, posts that they're trying to keep up with. And I think all of that was a little bit much combined with, trying to touch base with these people. So I kind of want to get your thoughts on that. Thoughts?
I think that 4 times a year is good. out of every quarter, people are working. It takes about 30 days, 90 days for anyone to promote once they get their mindset on it. So then they'll be in that director during that period of time when they're getting people on their team, and then when they're, so I think that's perfect. I say never do aspire to be again, but add more and do weekly or bi-weekly check-in calls.
Okay. So you like the information that we were doing, okay, on the other director bound stuff, but maybe add in the touch points.
Maybe add in a video. Yeah.
What I'll probably do is go through some of the aspire to be, and because I think it has some good information, and just really kind of look through it. Okay, what do I feel like is some of the most important things from that to put into, because I feel like if you have too many videos, too many posts, then there's not, it kind of loses the importance. You know, if you really want them to learn this one thing, but they're like, okay, but I have 50 other videos to watch today as well, then I feel like it kind of loses its importance.
I completely agree. And I take back my weekly calls. Bi-weekly is, I think, plenty, if not 3 times, once every 3 weeks. Because you want to give them time in their busy lives to actually look over everything. Because if they feel rushed or pressured, they're not going to do it. It's just going to throw your hands up in the air type of thing.
Yeah. I know that everyone across the board, I think, that does a director bound, or they do like the 6 weeks to success. If they're doing the 6 weeks to success program, they are calling their person every single week. Now, if it doesn't have, the thing that I ran into, honestly, because I can be honest with you as leaders, I have my own personal business. I have my own personal business phone calls. I have phone calls, with you guys. And then I have phone calls with my, people that want to become a director. And so it's a lot of calls that I'm trying to get in every single week, So, I feel like if you have someone, and you know your people that are getting ready to promote, if you have someone that is right, they're in their month that they're going to promote or whatever, I'm sticking to them like glue. I am constantly, touching base with them, seeing how they're doing and stuff. And so, but I feel like, if you have someone maybe that is at the kind of the start, like they're just like, yeah, I'd really like to promote to director, but maybe they have like 1 or 2 people on their team, then maybe it's okay to have, in every other week, phone call with them. But if you have someone that's in the thick of promoting, like they're going to need your support heavily, that month, and checking in and making sure things are in line and stuff, because they've never done that before. So I am thinking about starting the new director program in November, and it will run up until, we'll skip the week of Thanksgiving, but it'll run up until the week before Christmas. So we'll start it. I'm going to talk some about it on the meeting. So what I would like for you guys to do over the next couple weeks, because we're going to start it on November 6th. So if you guys will write that down, November 6th is going to be the next day. It's on a Monday that we're going to be starting the director bound. So if you have people, that are interested, that's when we're going to start it. And so it'll run it'll run 3 weeks in November, because I'm not going to run it Thanksgiving week. I'm not going to take away from anyone's Thanksgiving break at all. So it'll run 3 weeks in December, and in November, and then it's going to run 2 weeks in December. And so I want to wrap it up like the 17th. And so, because people and stuff are going to be traveling into Christmas. And so I'll but right now November 6th, because I want to be sure that you're already thinking, and talking with your people, that are interested. And I will try to look at revamping, kind of combining and figuring out a way to kind of change where it's not so overwhelming, but it's still good information as far as what our director bound program is. We'll do a kickoff call for sure. That will probably be on November 6th that night. We'll kick off with a call. And because we're doing that call, then you guys won't necessarily need to touch base with them until the following week. because I'm going to talk with them about, okay, here's how we're going to get our calendars ready. Here's the importance of 8, shows on your calendar. We're working towards 2 recruits, that kind of stuff. And then you guys can kind of follow up with them the next week and say, okay, I know you heard Melody talk about the importance of, getting your calendar. How have you done this last week in getting it where it needs to be? Have you booked? What further help do you need? Does that make sense? Will that work for you guys?
I have a question. The 8-show goal, is that, considering the virtual parties and how much they, how the sales are lower? If you're virtual mainly, should it be more than 8 shows, or is that considering virtuals?
8 and 2 really was started with the whole cooking show. Now 8 and 2, we know 8, just because you have 8 shows on your calendar does not mean you're going to have 8 shows that you submit necessarily. Okay.
Right.
So I always encourage people to have more than 8 if they're only doing virtual. Now, if they're doing a cooking show, they're doing a fundraiser, they're doing a freezer meal, then that's obviously going to count as one. But I always think it's good to have a couple, 2 or 3 extra, for those that may not qualify or whatever. So that's a good question, Marissa. Now, what they told us at home office from looking at the stats, because they've really been watching, that you have to click on, is it a virtual party? I mean, they're really watching what virtual parties are doing, and they're kind of finding that you're really almost having to do 2 virtual parties for every cooking show, almost, because my cooking show average, is around 800, so almost every time I go do a cooking show, it's usually between $800 to $1,000. And I mean, I've had virtual parties that are that high. And my virtual party, I mean, I have, $500, $600 parties, for the virtual, but they're not all like that. Now, host coaching is huge. Since I switched to calling each of my hosts, that has made a huge difference in my virtual parties and also with my host coaching that I do throughout, teaching them, hey, I have something that I want you to post every single day. And it's super important for you to be active in your party, because if they're not active, you guys know as well as I do. I mean, you could host coach them, you could do all this stuff. They can invite all these people, but if they're not active in their party, then they're not getting the notifications, because they get notifications every time that host, is posting something. And so that's why, like I just told, one of my hosts that's starting a party tomorrow, be sure that you are, commenting and posting, the things that I tell you to, because that way your guests are going to be more involved and stuff. So we're definitely going to be focusing some more on that. Now, one of the biggest things too that I want to talk with you guys about is the new consultant training. Okay, home office. You guys have been doing a new consultant training. It's similar, but it's got some differences. So I'm going to flip the screen around in a second, and I'm going to show you where to find the new consultant training. Now, here's the deal with new consultant training, guys. Here's what home office has found with our new consultants. There's 4 different categories of new consultants. You have your new consultants that start out, they take the kit and they never do a show. Okay. You have your consultants that start out and they do a couple shows and then they never do another show. You have your new consultants that start out and they start out strong and they start doing these shows, and then month 3, 4 comes along and they start crashing. Okay. And then you have these consultants that start off, they start strong, and like several of you on here, I mean, a large majority of you on here fit into this category, which is why you're directors. You started out, you start out strong, you start building, and you stayed strong. Okay. And so those are kind of the 4 categories they're finding. Now, what concerns them are the people that are starting out strong and then they're plummeting. What is happening that they are losing the momentum and stopping? Okay, that's what they're trying to figure out right now. So the biggest thing that they want to be sure with this new consultant training, yes, it's 4 calls, but here's what I feel like we're doing right now. We're doing this new call with our consultants. we're starting them out. We're saying, okay, here's how you book shows. Here's what you need to do. We need to get these shows on your calendar. They book these shows, and then they don't really get bookings because they don't know how to get bookings from the shows. They don't really know how to host coach very well. So the people aren't inviting, like they should be. So they have these first few shows, and then they just kind of aren't as successful from there. Okay. So what's important with these other calls is that this is about host coaching. This is about getting bookings from your shows. This is how to help them stay strong in the long run. Yes, it's 4 calls. The first one is a welcome call. It's hi, introduce yourself. It is like literally a 5-minute call. Okay, that one's super short. Okay, so used to our first call is our long one. Is the super long one. This one is just kind of introduce yourself, and say, hey, I really want, in the next 2 days to touch base with you and go over some stuff. When is a good time, to touch base with you? Then you have the second call, and the second call is going to be about bookings and stuff, and then you're going to go into the third call and fourth call. If you, and they are finding this, if you actually do all 4 of these calls and really start your consultants out strong, then we're going to stop having these consultants that start struggling. Okay, because if you spend a little bit of time, see, there's my honey, you're not in. I want out. So if you're spending the time with these new consultants and you're starting them off strong, but as they go, they're going to stay strong. And that is our goal, is that right now we have, hey, you need to go find your daddy, please. Hey, back up, Bubba. I don't want you falling down the stairs. Back up, please. Kason, back up.
Kason, okay, I told you to come in and get James on.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
No, you're not. You are not. They were at me, Mom, and Papa's house this evening, so they're just coming in. So having this training is really going to help starting out our new consultants and keeping them going strong. And that is the goal, because we have a lot of these people that they join our team and they turn around and they have people join their team. And what's happening is these new people are trying to somewhat train these other new people, and they're not necessarily getting the training that they really need to stay strong. Okay. So, I think that what I am doing and what I would really encourage you guys to do, if you have not done already, is reach out to your team members and say, hey, I have this new consultant training. What do you think about restarting your business? If you have these people that have kind of haven't really done much. Okay. And, maybe you just didn't necessarily know how to train them. A lot of you all started quickly, and maybe you don't feel like you know even what to do with new consultants. And so I'm reaching out to mine and saying, hey, we have this new consultant program. Would you be interested in kind of restarting and jumping your business? And I could help you do that with a new consultant program, and let them know this is the perfect time to have their own show this month. Perfect time. I don't care if it's catalog. Shelly, speaking of fans making you sick. She will lose her mind on me. If my phone was pointed at the fan right now, you'd be losing your mind on me.
Yeah, she would split.
Right, Melissa?
Yeah.
She would lose it on us. Yeah, she's over here doing it. But anyway, reach out to your new consultants, or your consultants in general. If you have these people and say, hey, I'm kind of doing a jumpstart program, would you be interested in doing this with me and trying to jumpstart your business again? And you don't know, what they might say. They may say yes, they may not respond, and they may, start doing it. But home office recommends, if you're going to do this jumpstart, you can do multiple in a group together. Okay. So you can do several on a phone call. You could do a free Zoom 30-minute call, you know, because you can do these Zoom calls for 30 minutes for free without paying for it. Okay, so you could do, you know, a few of them at a time and say, hey, you know, here's how we're going to jumpstart our business. It's just going to be a few calls. I would really like to see you guys get your own show, you know, on the calendar this month, or reach out to some people, you know, about doing shows. So I'm gonna turn around the computer, and I'm gonna show you where this new consultant training is. And I encourage you to get a binder. If you already have something to put it in, that's fine. But get something to print this new consultant training out, okay? So you have it for each person, because they've given you checklists for every single person. Okay, this is a way for you organized individuals that love organization. This took me to my happy place. It may not take all of you to your happy place, but it took me to my happy place. So, okay, I'm going to turn my screen around here, and I'm going to share this with you. Okay, so if you're on the main homepage, it's going to be under PC University, okay? If you go into PC University, it's going to be under courses, coaching new consultants, right down here at the bottom. It was the same place that it was before, but the information has changed, okay? So here it is. Now, if you go to, let me see what this one is. Okay, this one here, see how it says Coaching New Consultants Binder. So it's the second tab down. This is the binder version. This is the part that takes me to my happy place. Okay, so here is just where it's going to talk about what you're going to do. Okay, now what home office is doing, and this is why you guys need to know about this new consultant training, what they're doing is they are now sending emails to each of your new consultants. Okay, so they are sending these emails along with you, and I'll get to a piece of paper in a minute where you can kind of see what they're sending. Okay, but this is just tells you what to do, coaching basics and instructions. Okay, so what I like about this, okay, here's the welcome call. Short, sweet, okay, not a long call. Okay, first coaching call checklist. Okay, so after you've done this call a few times, you can use this checklist instead of looking through the several pages, because you're already familiar with it. Okay, but until you're familiar with it, here is the within 24 hours welcome call. Okay. Bubba, you're not out. Hey, give Mama loves and go downstairs. Hey, I love you. No, I can't hold you. Okay. Hey, listen, you need to go downtown. Okay. Did you have fun at BMOS? No. So here's all the information. So we already know, you know, finding their why, having a new consultant action plan. Hey, son. If you don't want him to lick you, go downstairs. Launch list. Okay, so it's going to be this first call is going to be similar to what you guys have been doing, okay? And then once you have done it, then you can go back up here to this checklist, and you can do the checklist, and you don't necessarily have to do the whole call. Okay, so then you get into the second call. Now, I know if I am figuring with you guys, you feel pretty comfortable with the first call, but maybe you're not really getting to the second and the third call and so on. Would I be accurate in that?
Very accurate for me, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, yeah. So this one here, host coaching, 30-day challenge video. Okay, your launch list. So following up with the progress with their bookings, check in on their launch parties, brainstorm ways to build the attendance, review host coaching. Okay, so see this right here? If we're not doing the second call, guess where they may start lacking? Okay, so the other calls are not as long as the first call is going to be, okay? Your second and third call are going to be shorter, okay? So Then we got our third coaching call, building excitement for their first party, virtual parties, review virtual party selling course, get familiar with the monthly guest special, host special, okay. Third coaching call. So on all of these, they're going to have the checklist, and then they're going to have the real, the real words to do, okay. Recapping. So this one is after they've had their first party, okay. Whether it is virtual or it is cooking, okay, you can have a recap on their first party. How did it go? I always start with the positives. What things went well with your party? Okay, what things do you feel like need to change with your party? What things would you like to work on in your next party? Okay, but you can do this with either virtual or cooking, okay? All right, so this is what the binder is that you're going to be printing out. Now, if we go back over here, let's see, it was,
Is Casey
yes, he's up here.
Casey, come here. So mommy love you,
Night. Love you. Okay, so let's see here. Is it new consultants rewards and action plan? No, it wasn't that one. Let me see. I'm trying to find the checklist.
Like those jammies that are too small.
Okay, here it is. Okay, so guys, it's under the touch point guide. Okay, so right under the binder version, touch point guide, this is what you want to print off. Okay, because this is literally everything written down. Okay, here's when home office is checking in with them. Okay, welcome, Pampered Chef, day 1 topic, day 3 topic. Here's what they're sending them, and here is what you are doing. Okay, and so this has everything written out that you can print out and have it in your binder as well. Okay, new consultant coaching checklist and schedule. Okay, check this out. This is what I'm going to print for every one of my new consultants. Okay, so every one of them is getting one of these because I can have their information, I can have their consultant number, why PC, what their goal is, and the call schedule. Did I do the welcome call? Did I do the first call? So you have all your calls. You can check here. Did the new consultant do these? Did they check in? Here is your new consultant's why. So if they're having trouble coming up with their why, maybe they are unsure, what their why is. So you can say things like, tell me a little bit about your family. Do you work outside the home? What is your dream? Why did you decide to do PC? So here is a list of things that you can personally ask them if you're like, I don't know what to ask them to find out their why. Here is, because I will tell you, finding someone's why is a huge deal because the why is what's going to push them through the hard times. Okay, when they have parties that cancel, when they have hosts, that don't respond or don't do what they told them to, their why is what is going to keep pushing them to keep doing shows. Okay, so it's super important to find their why. So in the binder, I'm going to have several of these printed out. So every time I have a new consultant, I can reach out to them. Now, what do you all need from me as far as this new consultant training goes? Not everyone at once. How do you guys feel about doing this? And just so you guys know, hope Melissa didn't just get pulled over.
I did not.
Okay, good. Just so you guys know, I saw the red and blue flashing lights. Just so you guys know, this is stuff, if you have multiple people that are starting at the same time, group them together, guys. Okay, I'm not expecting you guys to do individual calls with all of your, people, 4 times, okay? Maybe doing their welcome call, maybe the first call individually, and then grouping together the 3rd and 4th call, or however you feel comfortable doing. All I care is that it is done. Okay. How you do it, you know, is up to you. So what are your feelings? What are your thoughts? What do you think that I should do in this process, you know, to help you all? I'm honestly thinking about doing a new consultant call on Tuesday. So Tuesday evening, probably at 8:30. So if you have some, if you reach out to the people on your team and they're like, yeah, I want to jumpstart my business, you know, you can add them to that call. If you are like, you know,
By the way, I raised my hand and realized you couldn't see me.
yeah, I can't see your raising of the hand. Sorry.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Melissa.
I do have a new consultant that I would love to do with you on Tuesday.
Okay. Perfect. So I will probably announce tomorrow that I'm going to do a new consultant call, kind of jumpstart. And I'm going to talk to them about doing their own show, getting their business going again. So I'm going to be reaching out to all the ones that I haven't talked to yet, and being sure, you know, that they know that this is a great time to start your business. So I'm thinking, the thing of it is with the first couple calls, it's really important that we do them, you know, in the first 24, 48 hours when they start the business. So, you know, I've thought, okay, should I just do a call a week, like the first, second, third, fourth, you know, and have people jump on? But also, you know, I want to be sure that if I'm on week 4 call and people are just starting the business, you know, they're going to need to hear the call from, you know, the first 2 calls. So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, if there was a way to structure that, that would be really, I mean, I think that would be really good, but I wouldn't want you to have to take on all of that. I feel like it's a lot for you to take on. Maybe if there was like a rotation or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe a rotation.
So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that 1, 2, 3, 4, should we do like one a week, or do you think we should do?
I think, okay, so my personal opinion is that no, because it's not your responsibility. It's the director's.
So do you feel like you guys will be able to handle within your organization, you know, those calls and trainings and stuff? Now, here's what I may do. If I am doing a new consultant call with one of my people anyways, I always feel like, you know, I'll throw it out there. Hey, I'm doing a new consultant call. If you have someone that you want to add to it, go for it, because I'm doing it anyways. But I also know that it's super important for your new people to hear the information. You know, you don't want to be talking about, you know, they're in their 15th day and you're trying to go back to, you know, starting over again. So it is important. And Kayla asked a good question on the call that I had with her. She said, so what if we have these people that sign up and you ask them, you know, when can they do the call, and they just don't answer, or they don't get back within, you know, 24 hours to do the call with you. So as soon as they sign up, I'm going to text them and say, hey, I just want to do a short little call with you, just welcoming you to the team. You know, can we do that, you know, sometime tomorrow? You know, if they say no, okay, well, when is a good time, you know, for you? And you just, depending on how much time they have, I honestly might do the welcome and the first call kind of all in one, you know, because that's kind of what we've done in the past. And I'm okay if that's how you guys want to do it. You know, if you are touching base with them and you kind of lump together the hey, introduce myself, and you know, here's how we book our shows and stuff like that, you know, I'm fine with that as well. But you know, I've not really ran into someone just flat out not getting back with me about their training, they at least respond in some way. But typically, if I say, hey, it's really important that we get together in the next couple of days, when would work for you, they typically will get back with me. Stop. No. So I know so far for me, I've been able to at least touch base with them, unless they just don't respond and they weren't ever intending on doing anything. But typically they get back a hold of me, and then you can kind of look at when to do the third and the fourth call as far as host coaching, and we know that with host coaching, you also have to be aware that you can't overwhelm them. This is so much information when someone's starting out. Your child, I remember when I first started and I didn't have someone helping me, I was so stinking overwhelmed. I was just like, I don't even know where to start. I don't know what to do, so you don't want to overwhelm them with information as well. So that's where, they broke it down into 4 calls instead of, trying to jam all of this information at once. Okay. And I still think, if you are doing virtual parties, I think it's a great thing to add them to one of yours, offer to help them with their first one and tell them to do a couple with you, have them run 2 of theirs while you're running one of theirs, so they can get, better at running theirs themselves, from the very beginning. So add them to your party, tell them that you'll run one of their, one of their parties, and you encourage them to get 2 parties going right away with you. So basically 3 parties booked that you guys are going to start together. You're going to start one and they're going to start 2 and do them with you. Okay. So, and if, from that, that way you can teach them SendShare, or that way you can teach them, how to kind of do this stuff alongside, because the more you guys train these people and teach them how to do this stuff as you are doing it yourself, the better and easier it's going to be in the long run, because they're actually learning how to do it themselves. And you're not having, to do everything for like months and months and months and months and months. Right, Melissa?
Right. I'm learning.
She's learning. I'm working with her. She's learning. Okay, so what other questions do you guys have? Our goal, is I know that this month it was kind of, I know some of you guys did the drawing slip that I sent you guys to fill out. Not everyone has done it. I will definitely be putting those out at the beginning of the month, and that's how I will figure out, what your goals are. Now, some of you guys cracked me up on your responses. They were all different. The date where it says, Casey's laughing because she doesn't know what to say. Where it says October, that's just the date. You don't need to, like, I had some of you go, yes, it is October, or question mark, or some people put in there how many people they wanted to recruit that month. So all the answers were all over the place. So the date is just the date. You don't have to that's just the date, but what I may change it to is I kind of want to know your personal recruiting goal and then your personal team recruiting goal. So, because those 2 numbers may be a little bit different. So that way I can kind of see what your guys' goals are, for each month. And keep in mind, guys, these are your goals. This is what you are hoping for your team to strive towards. So I'm not, I know that as directors, we're always striving to have at least $2,500 in sales, because that's, half of our team sales. And so as leaders, we're always, striving for at least that much. Now, I will tell you guys, just to remind you, for those of you that are working towards spring products, by the way, I saw them. And by the way, you're going to want to earn them. Okay. I will tell you, yes. And so The way that falls is September through December getting $12.50 in sales every month. September, 3 of the 4, $12.50 in sales. So September, October, November, December. 3 out of the 4 of those months, you need to have at least $12.50 in sales. Then you also, or I should say, $5,000 in sales for all 4 of those months combined. Okay, so you can either have $12.50 in sales in 3 out of the 4 months, September through December, or you can have $5,000 in sales as a whole for all 4 of those months. Okay, so those are kind of the 2 options on how you guys earn all of the spring, products, kits that they have coming out. So, so just keep that in mind. And guys, October, November, December, we are in our highest months. Okay, so be sure that the people on your team are understanding, how to book their calendars for October. November, okay, I mean, from Christmas orders to, booking parties, this is the time you want to get those parties on your calendar. Okay, so be sure that you are really reaching out to people and getting those parties booked. So any other questions that we have? Anything that anyone wants to say? Melissa, I can't see your hand.
This may be asking too much, but so when you do the Google survey form,
yes,
is there a way you can share all of my directors' answers with me?
I may have an inside source that I can do that.
Awesome.
Like
That'd
me.
be great, just so they don't have to answer twice.
So you mean to me and then turn around to you? Is that what you're talking about?
Right.
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you.
I can do it. Yeah, that's not hard.
Okay.
Not hard at all. Okay, so here's kind of what I am just thinking, looking at a month. Okay, opportunity event went really good the other night, by the way. I was worried just having the first month with 2 in it, how the first one would be on a Wednesday night, but there was a lot of participation and there were several people on there, and I think that the potential for several people to be joining too. So now every month we're going to be having, and I put that out there, and I'll keep posting that because I know people will forget it. That one Wednesday, one Sunday every month. So be sure to remind your people on your team of that as well. And so we're going to be having the 2 opportunity events. We will do the small group calls, like this once a month. I'll post the times at the beginning of the month so you guys can pick which time works best. Now, do you want to do it where you guys are always in the same one, or should I just throw out, 3 or 4 times on there every month and you guys just sign up for the one that works?
I like the same people.
You like the same people?
Just because she likes to do all the talking.
I know, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm the only one who spoke up.
I don't find the same people.
So if people are annoyed with me, get out of my group.
Get out of my group. I'll be in a group all by myself. You guys are funny. Okay, so here's another topic. Happy Mail. Happy, not so happy, Happy Mail. I told you guys, a while back, do whatever you guys feel comfortable with. But I will tell you, I took the initiative and sent out some Happy Mail because, I just hadn't in a while. Even if it is a note congratulating them on their sales or, whatever it is, the more you guys can encourage the people on your team, you're going to really start to see a response. The people that I sent it to, immediately sent me, thank you so much. I appreciate you doing this for me. And, they just were really appreciative. So you don't have to do it every month. Okay. But if you find something at Target little and you're like, oh, I could totally throw that in an envelope, or some Smarties candies, get a package of 15 or, whatever, just every now and then, if you guys, I do think it really makes a difference when you reach out and do little things for your team members. I'm not going to tell you what to do or how often to do it or whatever, but recognizing, you know, your top in sales or your top recruiter or whatever, it really does go a long ways. People really do. And when I've done surveys in the past of what they appreciate, and they always say recognition or, you know, thank yous of some sort. People just enjoy that kind of stuff. So just think about that, you know, with your team and stuff, and decide what you know, would like to do.
Can I say something, piggyback on that?
You can.
Thanks. Last time I sent out Happy Mail, I really didn't get a response at all from my
Must have been crappy.
I know. God. I don't even remember what it was. I felt like it was. But the time before that, I just put on the bottom of my note that I included, like, you know, how you congratulate them and they did an excellent job. I'm so proud of you. When you get this, let me know how this month is looking for you. And it opened up communication from people who never reach out to me, or I never think to reach out to them, or people who just don't really respond when I do try and reach out. I was very, very shocked by who actually messaged me once they got their Happy Mail about their month. So that was kind of cool.
That's good.
That's a good idea. Because I just sent out Happy Mail to my team, and I don't know if one person received it or not.
I didn't get anything from you. Jessica said she didn't get anything.
I didn't give you anything.
Uh-oh. Jessica's in the back seat.
That's funny. Oops.
So, that was a really cool thing. If you have people who aren't really responding to you, or if you want more communication with them, I just did it to see who would actually message me, and I was very shocked at who did. So
I think that's a great idea. Anything that you put on there that's going to bring some sort of conversation back, I think is a great idea. Great idea.
Wait, can I say something else? Casey, don't judge me. Is anyone doing the Green by 15 postcards?
Casey's not.
We did this, and they're gonna cost me so much money.
You know, you guys can, I will be honest with you. I started doing them, and I did them probably 4 months, and I didn't have one single person contact
Everybody
me.
is cash.
I owe all my team Green by 15 money.
Yeah.
It's just, and with
Which is great because they're selling, but.
And plus, I'm doing gifts on top of that, like we have contests. So is it okay if I stop doing that?
Yes. You can do, like I said, within your guys' teams, you can do, you know, you guys decide what you want to do. I'm never going to say you have to do, you know, this, and this, and I expect you to spend this amount of money, or I expect you to have, you know, you guys, I don't care if it's just a thank you card. I mean, whatever because each person, like, you know, is able to spend different amounts. So whatever it is, you know, that you are wanting, just encourage them. If you are doing different contests, you know, whatever you are finding works, stick with it. Okay, my biggest thing is if you feel like something isn't working, then look at it and say, okay, what should I do differently? But if you feel like whatever you're doing is working, then you keep doing it. Okay, so always, you know, if I feel like something's not working, I'm going to go back and say, okay, what was I doing then that I'm not doing now? Okay.
Right.
If I want that result, what was I doing then to get that result? Okay. What did I change? What am I not?
One thing that I changed,
my money.
what I think helps is that we of course I praise them for Green by 15. I praise them for $500 by the 15th of the month. But what we've kind of incorporated, instead of doing top and sales as like a reward or something that we praise, although we do obviously recognize it, that is no longer a contest in my team. What I have instead is the $1,500 club. And the $1,500 club is where you want to be. And so I do a raffle for all of those that are in the $1,500 club. So because that is like what I praise and what our team sees as prestigious, everyone tries to get 500 by 50. I think that the Green by 15 postcard is really working because that's going to be inevitable. Almost, 90% of our team is Green by 15.
Right.
Out of the 30-something active consultants that we have.
Right.
So I'm just thankful I don't actually have to do that. But I don't know if anyone else wants to do something like that, but it's really worked with my team to where we always have, 10 people that are in the $1,500 club every month.
Right. Absolutely. And that's why, I do the 500 by the 15, whatever behavior you want, that's what you reward, so if you want them to get 150 in sales, then that's what you're going to encourage. But if you want them to do more, you're not just going to encourage them, to have $150 in sales a month because that's what they're going to work towards. You can have those, and that's why I started, really talking about those that have 750 in sales. Because I want people to have 750 in sales because they're getting that free product. So I started recognition with the 750 in sales. And so whatever you're wanting them to do, that's what you're going to, praise them for, or do a contest for, or whatever. And I would highly encourage you all, if you are wanting more recruiting on your teams, do something to encourage recruiting. So I think sometimes we focus so much on the sales, but are we focused on recruiting within our team if they have a certain, if you have a certain goal that you want your organization to hit each month. So, and just remember, when it comes to recruiting, you guys are leading the way. You are showing them how to recruit. Because if you expect, recruiting in your team, are you recruiting yourself? Okay. So just be thinking about that as you are talking to them about, their goals and what, you want for your organization in recruiting. Because when I started doing 2 recruits every month, no matter what, that's when I went from a director to an executive in like 14 months. Okay. So it is really important for you to set your own personal goals of where you want your recruiting, business to be. Thanks.
I want some.
Is this from the new line?
This is that one we got from, had to order off Amazon, delivered to Uncle Larry.
Awesome. Thank you.
So are you sending out the certificates for if they hit 750?
What I did was I recognize at our team, our team meeting, and I'm giving out the Smarties on that, and then mailing certificates to those that are not.
Okay, so you are mailing certificates.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, can I just interject real quick?
You can.
Because I have a really weird situation going on.
Okay.
I'm kind of multitasking and closing out my parties, and I have an Ashley who's hosting, and her party only hit 200, so she has the 20 and the 1 half off, and she said that she wasn't going to use her discount or anything, and I told her that you can't save it and you have to use it now. And I'm going to give a gift to somebody in a different party, and she was the winner, but she ordered in somebody else's party and spent $38, but won't give herself $20 of free product.
So she doesn't even want to use the free?
No.
Why'd she have a party then?
Exactly. And she's spending money in somebody else's party, but won't even take the free in her own.
Does she understand that she has free?
Yes, I told her everything she earned.
And she says, I don't want any of my rewards.
Yes.
Then I guess put your own name on it. And
Oh, I am. But I guess I just didn't even realize that she ordered in somebody else's party. So it's not like she doesn't have the money to pay shipping. Weird. Anyways,
Weird. Yeah,
so
I guess just put your own name on it, because if she isn't going to use the rewards, you don't want to. Well, obviously you can't close the show unless someone uses them. That's just weird, though, that she wouldn't want to. I've had people that don't want to use the half off or whatever, but they usually at least use their free.
yeah, so strange.
Weird. If you guys end up with any booth opportunities in your area, take them, because those are really good ways to get out of your circle. Really good.
Okay, question. How do you find vendor booth opportunities?
I think you could probably Google them or ask.
There's a website in Oklahoma that's like Vendors of Oklahoma, and like people having vendor booths or vendor events can sign up on there, so you can reach out to them. So there's probably something similar in Texas.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Vendors in Texas or something.
Yeah.
Or make maybe even a Facebook post and say, is there a way to see, vendor booths in your area, in Texas? And I bet some people would know the best place to go to look up vendor booths.
Okay, because I really want to do that. I started going to, I don't know if this is off topic or not, but BNI or meetup groups. And you go and it's business owners and they refer you clients or people who would want to have a party or orders or whatever, and you pass out your business cards to them. And so that's been a really good business, I guess, whatever relationship with the health insurance. It's the same thing with Pampered Chef. So I went to my first one for Pampered Chef last week, and I have a person interested in doing a party from that. So I don't know if people have time, but it's like an hour out of your day, and you download the Meetups app on your phone, and you just find a meetup place at a time and day you can do it.
That's interesting.
So I mean, that may be a good way to find it. So if they're having like an event, I guess I could find vendor booths through them too.
Yeah. Congratulations, Marissa, for already being green.
Woohoo! She likes that.
I'm muted. Well, thank you.
It's a good goal.
Yes. We were green last month by the 15th or the month
That's
before
like
that.
your first month. Oh.
No, I think actually September was the only month. But
I think it was too. Y'all are always green by 15.
Yeah.
My mighty team of 5.
Your mighty team of 5.
Yeah, you need to grow that team.
I try.
You've got more than I do.
Well, 2 of them aren't my recruits. 2 of them are somebody under me.
That's how it works.
Yep.
That is how it
That's
works.
exactly how it works.
And that's why we talk about fast tracking from the very first call. So they can understand. And just remember that as you guys, because I don't know if on that paper, if it says, to talk about fast tracking, but they said basically you're going to include that when you're talking about their why. You can talk about fast tracking there and what that looks like. And especially, since several of you fast tracked, it's a great thing, that you can bring up, obviously, because you did it yourself,
Right.
and you can explain to them that it's possible. Like Melissa, you fast tracked and then did advanced fast track. So
Right.
you can explain to them what it's like to get $2,000.
$2,500.
$2,500?
Because I had a second to promote my 90 days too. Not that mattered, it was 90 days, but so my first 90 days I got $2,500.
That is so cool.
Yep.
Would you stop? That is awesome. All right, kiddos. Well, be sure to finish out this month strong. and get green.
Yes, ma'am. Just don't look at my sales until the end of the month.
Are all your parties towards the end?
At the end of the month.
Hey, I'm doing kind of good this month. Last month was,
Are you doing better, Casey?
yeah, I'm over 1,000 already this month.
Good.
Finally.
That's
Good. 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 Well, I'm excited to hopefully have some promotions again at the end of this month. Do some celebrating.
Yes. I'm excited too. Hopefully I'll have 3
Mm-hmm.
of them. Our team. God, I hope so. Praying it's gonna happen. I'm declaring it.
So are Renee and Jessica looking okay?
Yes.
That was
So
hesitation.
far.
Yes.
I think that they'll be fine.
Okay. Because that was about a heart wrencher.
Oh my gosh, I'm so mad at myself. Did I tell you that? Okay, so I placed an order and I was like, you know what? I really don't want to spend $50. I'm going to, instead of getting an extra tomato knife, I'm just going to change it out for the hand scraper. And so I did that. Had I not made that change, it would have happened.
You can't beat yourself up about that, though.
I know, but I'm so mad at myself for it. So.
For those of you that don't know, Renee missed promoting last month by 80 cents.
And it's my fault.
It was a very, very hard thing.
It was.
But what happened is Renee had someone join their team on the very last day of the month. And this is kind of a good lesson for all of us, honestly. Then I couldn't see that person, neither could Melissa, because when they're added to the very last month, they're not on our stats yet. So we couldn't see them. So when Renee was collecting the orders to put them under this person to get them to $150, I told her, I said, be sure to check the emails, and watch for those. Well, when they were checking the emails, they, one of the people that ordered was a past host. And so they saw the original total and they didn't see the 10% off. And so the 10% off obviously was what the past hosts got. And so when we added it all up, they ended up being 80 cents away, which kept Jessica from promoting to second gen to advanced as well, because she was over 12,000. So she would have promoted and Renee would have promoted. So lesson learned. But they'll get there this month. So it was hard though, but they both actually, they did really well with it. I was really impressed with how they handled the situation, how they didn't let themselves get down, and how they said, we're going to do it next month. So I was very impressed with them after talking with both of them. So, there have been people that have done stuff like that though and not earned a trip. Can you imagine being that far away and having something like that happen and not earning a trip? I mean, so anyway, well, thank you ladies for being on this call, and let me know after, print out that new consultant training, print out some of those extra sheets for your new consultants. I will post about the new consultant training I'm going to offer on Tuesday night at 8:30. If you have anyone, that's newly or that you reach out to and they say, yeah, I want to start my business again, see if they want to jump on that call. iPhone raised hand. Melissa, is that you?
No, my hand is up, but I wasn't raising it.
I think it's me saying that, it's getting late for me. I need to get off.
We are done, Miss Jean.
Okay.
We are done. Well, thank you.
I've been
Katie.
gone all weekend, and I just got home, and I'm like pooped.
You're pooped.
So,
You're tired.
yes,
you
I
haven't made,
am.
you haven't
I-
made a noise, Miss Jean. That's
No,
not
I did. I know. I've been at the dance jamboree for 2 days, and
Oh my
so I only
This woman
put
is
like
a dancing
like-
queen.
I only put 10 miles on my Fitbit, and I'm exhausted. So, yeah,
Holy cow.
yeah.
You impress me.
Oh, well, thank you.
I hope that when I'm your age, I'm still dancing.
And speaking
Doing
of parties,
toot roll.
I came home and I submitted over 1,000.
Awesome.
But you know what? I had 4 parties, and I had this sinking feeling, and I said, you know, I know how these virtuals can go, and in spite of all of the, you know, host coaching and telling them what we need to get to, and be sure and invite 300 people and talking to them and texting with them, nobody listened to anything that I had to say. I was like deaf ears, you know, they just acknowledge and do nothing. And so I'm like, I got to do something. So I jumped on and did a cancer fundraiser to over $500.
Awesome.
And then I passed out cards and stuff and got 4 individual orders of my own, plus the parties. 2 of them had 0, and then the other 2 had just a little over $100 in orders. I even extended the parties. I mean, nothing works. So I'm done at that point. You know, after the extension to the 15th, I'm like, you know, you guys have had since the 2nd, 13 days now to get it. If you're going to get it, you're going to get it. And if you're not, you're just not.
Right.
And so that's what I did. So
Awesome.
anyway, I'm moving on. I have two virtuals going and 2 cooking shows left this month. So
Awesome.
yeah, November's booked heavy, but I'll do what I can. I did reach out to my team. Kathy is working her own party at last. I'm not really for sure where she's at with it as far as orders go. And Jessica says she has a cooking show and three virtuals this month. So
Awesome.
yeah.
She's doing good.
But they don't look at it like they need to turn in by the 15th, even though I keep telling them, you know, this is going to be your payday. And I'm getting back, well, that's okay. I'll get paid, you know. So I'm like, I want a payday twice a month, don't you? But anyway, when we deal with people, if they were all robots, I could program them, but I can't.
I know, right?
They're people.
Push
Yeah.
the button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're people. So
One of the hardest things about leadership right there.
yeah.
Wanting
is.
it. But you know what, guys? Like I had one of our directors, you know, that fell off a couple months ago, and she reached out to me today and said, you know, I'm ready to do this again. You know, what do I need to do? So just keep doing what you're doing and keep working with people, because, you know, you never know when those people are going to say, okay, now's the time. Now I'm ready to actually, you know, do this business. So when you feel like it's falling on deaf ears, you know, sometimes it's not always, you know, so they may come back to you and say, okay, I can't even tell you how many people over the last 5 years have been with me and then came back again when the timing was better for them. So
Right.
yeah. So just keep doing what you're doing, ladies.
Okay.
Say a prayer for Maddox this week. He has a 2nd round of injections and laser treatment in his eye on Thursday.
So how is that? So are they hoping that the retina will reattach? Is that what
Yes.
they're hoping?
His
Okay.
blood vessels leak, and so the injections help dry it up, and then the laser treatments will cauterize his blood vessels in his eye so that it stops leaking. And they said once that fluid quits leaking, then his, which is pushing his retina to detach, it will reattach itself.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Great.
anyways, but he won't really regain full vision in that eye most likely, but it'll at least probably save his eye rather than having to have it removed. So
Yeah, the fake eye, right.
yeah, but and you know, worst case scenario though is that he does have to have that eye removed, which is a lot better than what they initially thought, and they thought he'd had cancer. So
Right.
we're just very grateful for that. But just keep praying for him. And
Absolutely will. Absolutely will. And your other little guy, when they tested him,
Yeah, he was fine. They said everything looked great. We did do genetic testing this last week to make sure it was Coates disease, but we won't get those results for like 4 or 5 weeks. So, because there's a possibility it's a genetic disorder, but they don't really think it is. So, but we'll know as soon as we get those blood test results back.
Okay.
But,
And then you guys, I don't know if you guys have been following Denise at all with their guy. He finally got his heart. You know, it started out with a stroke. You know, he had a stroke and he's only 14 years old. And then his heart was functioning like at 10%. And so she literally has been in the hospital with him for months now, waiting on a new heart, not knowing what's going to happen. He finally got his heart, and he's doing really well with it. So, and every month she's contacted me. I sent some packets for her, you know, so she could, I was like, Denise, just tell me the names, addresses, I'll send the packets, you know, so that way you can stay active. Because she was just fretting about, you know, wanting to be able to stay active and stuff. And so she's been working through it. So I think it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. All right, ladies. Well, you guys have a good evening, and thanks for being on here. And I will talk to y'all later.
all right.
Okay, sorry if I talk too much.
You did it,
All the
Melissa. Bye, girls.
Bye.